The reforms I'm proposing would not apply to those who are here illegally.
You lie, as you know, Robert Gibbs was from Republican Congressman Joe Wilson of South Carolina. He later apologized, called the White House Chief of Staff, but the Democratic leadership in the House says unless he apologizes to the House, that they will pass a resolution or consider a resolution to sanction him. Does the President think that's a good idea?
Look, I'm going to let the House figure out how to deal with that. The President accepts, as I said, Joe Wilson's apology. I think what's important, and the President has said this throughout the campaign and throughout his time in Washington, we ought to have debates. We ought to have passionate debates. That's what our history is predicated on. But I think what we have to understand is, how can we disagree without being personally disagreeable to each other? I think it's a good lesson for my 6-year-old that's watching, and I think anybody that's watching, that we ought to be able to have a passionate public policy debate, defend our positions based on fact, which in this case wasn't happening, but also do it in a way that respects all of us.
Well, some Republicans say the President crossed the very line you're talking about in the speech. He mentioned that some prominent politicians and people on cable television have promoted the idea that health care has these so-called death panels, which the President in his speech said was not true.
Now, such a charge would be laughable if it weren't so cynical and irresponsible. It is a lie, plain and simple.
If you pull out the dictionary, Robert Gibbs, the person who tells a lie is a liar. So does the President believe that Sarah Palin is a liar? She's one of the people who talks about the death panels.
I think that for whatever reason, despite many media outlets saying that what former Governor Palin was saying wasn't true, she continued to say it. I'll let Webster define what one calls her. I think in the absence of fact,
if it's not the truth, is she lying?
Well, in the absence of knowable fact, sometimes what happens is we fill the void with stuff that, quite frankly, isn't true. I think one of the great developments in the President's speech is he got to address directly the American people and the perception of what was out there and what was actually contained in the bill. And it's obvious and true. There aren't death panels. We're not going to cover illegal immigrants. We are going to pay for this bill, all of which were misconceptions out there, and I'm glad the President got to address them.